You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good afternoon, good evening all. Welcome to Outside the Box here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. Yeah, wow. Feeling the run of this game, I'll tell you that much. Crazy. Anyway, just want to make sure I got Ninja. You're in the call here?
Yeah, hi Kate.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I know.
Yes.
You're getting it on both sides of the midnight here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, why not? That's brilliant. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing to be able to wish a happy birthday on their birthday, and you're not even on that day yet. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you to everyone. It's been non-stop since just after midnight my time last night. So the wishes started coming in, and they haven't stopped all day. It's been absolutely wonderful. I've never had what I'm now describing as an online birthday before. I've never done Facebook until I decided to start the Who Shall Not Be Legally Named group. I didn't get into it all, so I've never had that, and that's absolutely beautiful. Wonderful energies coming from people, and it's just a really nice feeling. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Love you all.
See, that's what I love about Facebook when you understand the phonics. Fa, se, book, right? So fa being the root note of all creation. That's where the fa, the comes from. That's the fa base note, the theos of God, ro, r, which is ro through spirit breath. So the Father is the base note of God through spirit breath. But that's the intent, right? So you start to really get a better handle on what is really going on, what magic is really happening here. And when you get that, you start having eyes of a 5-year-old again, and they sparkle and everything. And isn't it funny that Facebook, everyone says, oh, it's a CIA. Sure it is, whatever. How the hell am I supposed to teach them anything if they're not tuning into me, for crying out loud? Oh, you can have a fear porn attitude or you can have a truth porn attitude. It's entirely up to you. Me, I'm just neutral. It's all good for me. I just look at everything as it applies only to me because I am the universe. We are all told that, We talked about this in great length last night. So I want to kind of continue that whole energy on because that's exactly what we're dealing with, exposing the real magic of this place. And an interesting thought came to mind last night, and it really revolves around the whole idea of why people get afraid of things like court and whatever. Well, you see, it's because you have the illusion that they're the law. They're not. They're the legal. You're the law, and you have to decide what laws you're going to stand in. If you're going to stand in a legal statute, then sorry, you're dead by consent. That's just how it works. I could make it a lot simpler than that, but it isn't. You see, and I keep going back to that Whore of Babylon. You're either in bed with her or you're not. You cannot be, half in and half out. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be completely out mentally because every string that is still attached, you do this in a baby step fashion, obviously, right? Everyone's not as crazy as me about that. Step out, I'm done, finished, bye, see ya, I'm pretty decisive that way. When I make a choice, I stand in it immediately. And, I've had this scared out of me many times. That's part of the game. That's exactly what it's about. But you have to remember that all things in a court are all things legal. They're not lawful. They're not lawful until you bring your court in with me or with my law, which is common. With my law. That's what common law is. And what we're doing now is turning the tables have been turned with the witness. And what to do now, because we've already had the, quote, victories of shutting courts down and getting people removed. And, of course, what happens when people win? There is nothing worse than winning, and there is nothing worse than losing. And I'm going to tell you why winning is so dangerous for the ego. The ego gets immediately satiated. Oh, look, I won. I get to sit back and pick my bum now. No, you don't. And don't whine about the next level that's going to come at you, because it will. So for me, I want to stay one domino ahead in the game. That's why I get to uncover the things I get to uncover and watch the things change as they change. There's nothing worse than a winner's attitude. And I got to tell you, how do you put this in simple terms? When you understand that everything in the court is just legal. And they can break all the legal rules they want. They can change the legal rules all day long, inside out and backwards. But what they cannot change, and this is what I know, I don't believe this, I know this. This is what gives you the strength, my friends. It's so very easy to get once you get this. I stand in the law. They cannot change natural law. And it takes a little bit to get there, but it's such a hard walk. And there's so many of us now that are clicking with this concept and understanding it. So what I really want to keep focused on here is just because you win doesn't mean it's over. That's just a new beginning for the next game. And that's what I Am the Alpha and the Omega is all about. You are the beginning and the end. You are the end and the beginning. You choose where you want to be. So it's a constant cycle of creation, uncreation, creation, uncreation. It's a waveform. So it's a ride. But Kate, it can be so tiring. Tell me about it. But it's a whole lot less tiring when you get into a position of knowing, and it really does get to be fun. And you start to witness the things that are happening around you, watching the things that you have caused, because you are universe. I mean, I am you, you are me. You're one, just from different points of you, Y-O-U. So that being said, the easiest way to start to alleviate, a lot of people have these legal fears and whatever. If you truly understood what I'm saying, you would not have any fear. It's sort of like the cheeky little note I wrote yesterday, and it's filled with fact. It's filled with, yeah, you want to play with me? Here's the game I play. And I like to take my Abel seeds and plant them in other Cain fields, right? And there's nothing sweeter than Cain when it comes up the way you want it to. You see, I like to grow roses. And if I can choose, you can take a seed, an idea, a thought, and you can grow ragweed with it or a rose with it. It doesn't matter. It's going to be up to you as to what grows there. You can look at something literally and have it control you. That this is the power of thought. This is the game, okay? And when you can plant the seed of thought in someone else's mind and get a reaction, you have been cause. And what has happened there is you've planted a seed that created an effect, be it a good or whatever emotional reaction to it. And when you get that effect, well, that means that you were cause. If you can ever told a joke and made people laugh, well, you were the cause and they were the effect. Witnessing the cause-effect relationship. And it's like the system. They send a letter, and that's a seed of fear they want you to get, and I look at it as, oh, perfect, an open door for someone to go and slam this thing shut. It just depends on how you're looking at it. Anyway, get some of your thoughts on that, Ninj. We had a great chat last night.
Yeah, I'm a bit still sort of, I'm spinning a little bit. There's so much going on in my head. I'm not always able to get it out. I'm in such a place of peace. It's a very comforted feeling I've had last month from making major decisions about where I want to be in this world and where I want to be in myself and who I want to share that with and all those things. And, I come across people every day that are still finding those, positioning themselves, maneuvering, and there's lots of questions, there's lots of sharing. It's absolutely beautiful. And part of what I'm finding gives me that deep peace is simply getting, even if I can't explain it, simply getting this concept of no fear. There's nothing to fear because they can't possibly harm us. They, we, whoever, the other half of us, those in the mirror, the dark side, whatever we want to call them, to refer them as, they can't harm us. We can't harm ourselves even. We're simply in the position of being in this and having a look at it and deciding what we're doing with what we see.
Well, see, there's the magic of what you just said there. The only way you can be harmed is if you are intending harm to another. That's golden rule. So to the level that you want to harm someone else is the level that they will harm you. That's why through everything I went through, I knew I wouldn't be harmed because I had no intention of harming anyone. That's the only thing that protects you in terms of the physical meat stick. That's the truth that you stand in. And if you are going to be a belligerent and you want to go out with your Second Amendment and shoot, right? What do you think you can expect in the mirror?
Yeah, there's just this sense of when you come across something, whether you're listening to it, whether you're reading it, whether you're watching it, something. For me, anyway, it's very much it's just a pure feeling. It's all feeling. I do 90% of everything in feeling, and I don't think I mean emotions either. I'm just sensing things more than anything.
That's intuitive. There's feeling, emotion, or intuitive, right? So you're dealing with an intuitive. Just intuitively know something. You get, I call it, like. And
so when I'm coming across whatever it is.
Go ahead. We got a time lag.
Okay. When I come across whatever it is that comes across my desk, as you call it, which is exactly what it is, I'm at my desk. I'm reacting to it on that basis, and it's so clear. It's so clear to me. When somebody's coming from a place where I'm no longer standing, I no longer live there, I no longer want to be there. It jars. It's really jarring on the senses, and you don't really have to read everything to even make a decision, because the decision is instant. And then you have to decide what to do with that, of course. But this is the level at which I'm finding myself now. I don't do very much reading and viewing and researching. I just flowing.
Yeah, imagine the reaction you'd get. Let's go back into the movie script for a little bit here. Let's say in 1943, the newspapers in the U.S. and Great Britain headlined, U.S. and Britain have won the war, and at the same time in Germany they would have had the same line, Germany has won the war. What do you think the reaction of the energy would have been? I often ponder these things, the different scenarios. And these are the seeds I'm talking about to try to show what kind of an effect would you get with that kind of a seed. And to see the culminating, cascading domino effect that comes out of that. And that's exactly what you have with a thought. It's the domino. And you have countless dominoes that you can choose from every day, right? That's what thoughts are. And every time you have a thought, you're knocking one of those dominoes over. And it's cascading out and creating effects everywhere, to the point where you can't see them. It's like casting a stone into the ocean so far that you can't see the ripples. Just because you can't see the ripples doesn't mean it's not happening. You've proven that to yourself. So that, to me, is a natural way of showing this ethereal concept of seed planting. It's the same effect. You throw a pebble into a lake and you see all the ripples going out. That's what a thought is. So what kind of thoughts are you going to plant? What kind of thoughts are you going to accept? What kind of ripples are you going to have? Are you going to have a calm pond with every situation with people throwing pebbles at you? Or are you going to be a child and someone throws a pebble at you and the next thing you know, you've got 3-foot surf waves and you've got surfers all over the place? And there are some people that go to that extreme. Some points of consciousness do that. That's what I refer to as the more schizophrenic aspect of ourself. And again, that's not passing judgment on anyone. It's passing judgment on myself, right? You see? So that's how I look at things, because I know that everything outside of me is a reflection of me. And only those things that come into my awareness are the things that I need to be concerned with. So if you go looking, deliberately outside of your awareness, or you're not even aware of what I'm talking about, and you're reading headlines about this and headlines about that, you are trapped in a literal world created by another. You've heard me talk about fear porn countless times, and I can call it truth porn too, because I know how to look at it. What is it that I accept from that literal into my reality as it pertains to my purpose? You see, I have a particular roadmap that I'm following, and anything that comes at me is only applicable to my roadmap, not to the world around me. That's too easy. That's literal. There's no game there. We've played that, and we're going to play it again and again and again and have some fun. What I'm looking for is a higher, more fun level of this game that is better for all. And I can't step on free will choice that way, because all I'm deciding to do is to change my point of view, shift myself laterally into a different timeline where all of those other points of view exist already. Everything exists now anyway. Everything, every potential, every possibility exists right now. It's up to us as individual points of me, magnetic electric, ourself, to choose which game we want to take part in. Because there are versions of you in every timeline, having every experience. You just have to choose with the point of awareness that you have right now, which is pure consciousness, as which one you want to, participate in. I think it's pretty easy, personally, but that's just me. Just going to check the board here, see what we got. Oh, you only got one on the board right now? Yeah, I was a little slow on the getting the word out.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
Do you want to see which tarot card I pulled?
Yeah, would you please? That would be great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I usually do the shuffle during the intro music, which is what I did again today. And I pulled the universe.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, card number 21, yes?
Yes, 21, yeah. And it's in the Arthurian deck, it's the Giant's Dance. Well, I've got a bit of noise in my background there.
I say that was an interesting card. I like that. That was cool. Yes.
I don't actually know what that was, but there's some. I think I'll go and close somebody else's PC down.
Universe calling. Right, no worries. Yeah, the universe card. My book's inside, or I'd have a look for it myself. But to get back to the simplicities of this game, and I see it as a coincidence that Ninja pulled that card up, because as we are moving, the points of view that are dialed in and tuned in with this table on a daily basis are new and improved versions of me and you every single moment of now. So go ahead, Ninja. I thought I heard her. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, improved versions. You see,
yeah, the universe, the Giant's Dance. Well, I like the sound of that.
We got a time lag, Ninja, so go ahead.
I think I'll call back in, shall I? I'll rejoin.
Okay.
I think that might help.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Okay, let's see. I just get over to Skype here and just double check. I love when my Skype backs up and it opens up 2 windows. So there we go. Back to the host here. And did you go already, Ninja?
Right, I've just rejoined.
Oh, my God.
I'm in sync with you now.
That's a whole lot better.
Wow. Okay. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah, you sound like you're sitting beside me. That's excellent. So go ahead, Giant's Dance.
Giant's Dance, okay. Well, the short meaning for this card is liberation. Woo, liberation. The attainment of a long-sought goal. A combination of events, efforts, and experiences from the past. Completing a task with honors, triumph, and prosperity. Winning the admiration of others. Attainment bringing change that still retains stability, security, and assurance. Excuse me. Synthesis brings a sense of peace and wholeness. The card may also refer to travel, a new home, or graduation. The ability to direct one's life. Confidence, success, and lasting happiness. I like that part about the ability to direct one's life. I mean, isn't that all we all want?
Yeah, the movie.
About this nanny state interference business, and all that.
Oh, I agree. It's the whole thing of this is the game of how to not be God, because we are, and we want to play a game against ourselves to see if we can get out of it. It's pretty clear cut. If I was God, and I am, that's what I would do. I'm sort of like that, you know. Did you maybe want to read?
Yeah, and liberation. Well, yeah, the full part.
Yeah,
it's the full description.
It's because it's what it is a girl dancing around Stonehenge. That's the divine feminine dancing.
Yes, it is.
With creation. Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay, so under the heavens and amidst the stones, the dancer celebrates life in her victory dance of being. This ecstasy comes from deep within, when the conscious and subconscious work in unison. This leads to encounters, however brief, with the subconscious and its lasting gifts of faith. The synthesis opens many doors to understanding. The woman's dance represents embracing and enjoying life, living it to its utmost. Her iridescent veil of light drapes about her, but does not restrict her movement, representing a flexible lifestyle and environment. She is her perfectly natural, unencumbered self, free to dance in rhythm with the universe. The wand held in her hand symbolizes that she is the mistress of her own fate, not living by the dictates of others. She carries the wand with ease, representing self-confidence and faith. There is no desperate battle for control. As the woman dances, she travels the ditch which surrounds the stones. It has been theorized that rituals at these sacred sites involve the king, chief, or druid walking a protective circle, a path of blessing. This was thought to harmonize the four energies of the earth, the quaternary powers depicted on the foreground stones. These are the four evangelists traditional to the card, symbolizing the culmination of balance and energies. These figures correspond to the zodiac as the man, Aquarius, air, the bull, Taurus, earth, the lion, Leo, fire, and the eagle, Scorpio, water. The qualities they bring to the card are, respectively, intelligence and independence, determination and stability, strength and enthusiasm, intuitive knowledge, and great spiritual heights. The evangelists in the painting are as they appear in the famous Book of Kells, the late 8th or early 9th century book. The church associates the man with Matthew, incarnation, the bull, with Luke, passion, the lion, with Mark, resurrection, the eagle, with John, ascension. There is a lot more, actually, but I don't think I want to read all of that.
That's okay. Isn't it interesting that she's... go back to the part where she's walking in a ditch. I want to share an anagogic perspective. Go beyond the allegory to a deeper meaning.
It says, as the woman dances, she travels the ditch which surrounds the stones. It has been theorized that rituals at these sacred sites involve the king, chief, or druid walking a protective circle, a path of blessing.
Okay. Now, when you deal with, let's talk about a castle or a cast L, okay? What surrounds it?
What has around it?
What's around? Moat. What is a moat?
Yeah.
A moat is a spell.
You always say it, and I can never remember, but you say it all the time, a moat ion and all that motion. Yeah.
See, this is the phonics aspect that I want people to get into. And also, when you see something in a literal, for me it happens very quickly now because I've been doing it for a while. And it doesn't take much practice, though, I got to tell you. It's when you look at something, you can look at it literally and accept it just as it is. Oh, it's some bitch dancing in a ditch, right? or you know, I'm going to the low level way of looking at it. Okay, the very, very literal way. Oh, it's just a card with some really cute hot babe dancing around some stones in a ditch. You can add a whole lot of other physical meat stick attributes to that concept. But let's take it to a much higher level, because this is where we're moving. And it's not a caste level here that something is better. It's just a different perspective of the same thing. Just looking at the orange from a slightly higher perspective. So what I look at are, when I see things like stone or whatever, that to me is the very essence of matter, the densest matter itself, and the physical body is the walker between the worlds of spirit and physical, because we walk in both worlds, right? I'm kind of a clue to that. So what we have now then is a slightly different perspective on those things. So I look, what is a ditch? Well, a ditch can be a moat, right? It's a protective thing. That's what they were put around castles for, to stop people from scaling your walls. So what we've been doing is we've shunned our ions, our moat, our moatability, right? That's what a moat shun is. So what we've done with Onyx is discovered that it can also be equal and opposite. So if you say you're shunning something, it means you're pushing it away. So a moat shun, that's why they want you to put a moat shun into the court, to say that I have no ability to cast spells, and that's when they're going to own your ass. But when you have it from the perspective, and you only have to get this inside yourself. When you have it from the perspective, no, I've got my moat IONs, moat being casting a spell, and what that is mother love, M-O, Mo-T, right? Mother love, Io, which is the goddess, and that's the culmination of the intent with creation, the 1, the 0, the I, and the O, and Io is a Greek goddess of creation itself. That's your magnetic electric. You can look at it simply as a magnetic electric, Io, and make it all mine. So when we have, we all have a moat ability around us. We have a moat. And when you walk into the legal, what you're telling them is, I shun my ability to cast spells. I grant all of that to you so that you can cast sentences and spells upon me. That's what the legal is. And it's working in full compliance with lawful to that degree until you wake up, know who you are, take your own moat back, put it back around your castle, and start handing things back in a lawful way. Because here's the thing. If you want proof of they can change the rules all they want legally, but they can't change lawful, I will refer you back to a certain video again. See, like I said, every answer I needed was in that 2.5 minutes of the judge bows to sovereign. The fact that a judge bowed, and this happened last week with Kirsty as well. Just didn't get it on video. I was hoping to have. I'd love to see that on video. But her and 3 others had a judge bow to them before that justice or judge or whatever he was bolted from the room. Now we can go, yeah, get out of here. But you see, and then you're still stuck in that emotional state. But what happened was, I could not be drawn into the legal. Therefore, the lawful, the real law has to take place to protect both sides. It has to protect both sides. And when you understand that the law works on both sides equally, the only thing that's left now is your intent. What do you intend to mirror for yourself? And it's that simple. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with that because they can't imagine, something non-physical protecting them, or will harm them if they defy it. But that's the game here. That, you see, when we created the game grid, we created it with immutable, universal laws that cannot and will not ever be broken. What we have is a grid we can change at any time. That's what creation is. Just like the legal system changes whenever it feels like, so does the natural world, because that's the cycle of nature. It just changes constantly. I would hazard to say if we were to go on a different timeline 1,000 years ago, the world looks entirely different now than it did then. So that would be the changing of everything in a legal sense. But everything still has to work within natural law, because the trees still have to grow a certain way, flowers, and the sun still, we travel around the sun, and all of these natural laws are immutable and they stay in place. The only thing we have to do now is choose which game, which version of the timelines we want to be in, because every potential that we could ever imagine, and we are the all, so we've imagined it all, already exists. It's already in place. And as I was explaining to a friend last night, we've only had infinity to work this out. I think that's enough time to put together everything. When you try to imagine the scope of creation itself, it can be very mind-blowing. Very mind-blowing. But when you can go to peace with that by saying, well, listen, if I had infinity and everything that I thought put in place, I could manipulate immediately to make it work. We were basically what we've done is just tinkered with our ability to the point of creating this so that we could have a game. Now, once the game grid is all set up, we're playing. And this is an infinite game with infinite potentials. That was the whole point of it, because when you're the one, you're kind of lonely, yeah? And it sure could be boring. So we kept ourselves busy, if you will, the alpha and the omega, building this game grid. And it's fractal, so it's self-sustaining. It's self-sustaining to the degree that you have limited control over your body in terms of what you can do. Example is this. Can you hold your breath? Yes. Can you stop your blood from flowing in your veins? Well, yeah, you could, but you probably don't have the wherewithal to do that. You see what I'm saying? It does it all by itself. We don't have to think about that. We don't have to think about growing our fingernails, our hair, our toenails. We don't have to worry about focusing on a cut to heal it. We don't have to worry about mending a bone if we break it. The body, the universe fixes itself. And it will fix itself to the degree of the tools that it has. Okay? We don't have to think about that, because if we had to think of all of these things, we had to keep our heart going, keep the blood pumping, keep the diseases out, keep the toenails growing, hair growing, skin, everything fixing, constantly replacing. If that was all you were doing, which is what we did to begin this game, you wouldn't be having much of a game, because it's one you've already played. But for me, I would set up a game that I could just play, and it would self-replicate itself, right? And that's what Fractal is. It's just a game of self-replication, always morphing into grander and larger and smaller things. And we just have an opportunity as consciousness to play in our game grid. Hell of a game grid. Take some credit for it. Let's have a look around. Stop getting so angry all the time at everything. I think I will read that little note that I wrote to sent out yesterday to the chief in Guelph. Oh, a whole bunch of other people got it. The Vatican, you name it. Yeah, my standard email, right? Goes to Buckingham Palace and everything, whatever.
Yeah, I'll read that out, Kate. That's cool. That is, for anybody who wants to read along, what Kate's about to read can be found on the front page, the home page of kateofgaia.wordpress.com. Letter to Brian Larkin.
Yeah, it's a nice little note. I thought it was friendly. There was no malintent in it at all. It was just, here's your options, bud. Here's the dominoes. Here's your cane seed. And I'm going to let you, with your ability of creation and knowing how to cast spells and motes and everything else, because I'm sure you must be pretty good at it. That's the power of knowledge. So I just give things back to people. That's all I do. I said, yeah, that's great. That's a nice steaming pile of dog shit you handed me. No, thanks. Here, you can have it back. No, that's a bow, too, but I don't want the bow on it because it's still a steaming pile of dog shit. So I just keep handing it back. I don't care how you gift wrap it. A rose by any other name is still a rose, and a steaming pile of dog shit wrapped up in a bow, regardless of how pretty the bow is still a steaming pile of dog shit. So that's kind of how I go at things, right? Call me crazy. I do all the time. It's fun. Anyway, here's putting some wood in the fire. Let me get this open. I've got it open. Sorry, let me just pick my computer up where I can actually see the screen. Okay. Okay, boys and girls, sit around. We're going to have a bedtime story. I love playing this game. Okay. All right. Oh, Kate, you take it so lightly. Yeah. You're missing the joke. It's a big joke here. All right. Let me see. Where are we? Okay, everyone got their crayons? Excellent. Let's all sit around. I love crayons. I do. I really do. They're fun. Anyway, I gotta say, I watched August Rush last night. Haven't seen it in a very long time, and I just love revisiting things in new awareness, because it's so profound when you start seeing how we are portraying ourselves in all of these different roles. Oh, that sounds like a helicopter. I'll just let it go by. Can you hear that? Wow. Let me see. It's right over me. Yeah. Oh, it's the medevac. I always thought it was interesting that they painted them orange. We should have painted it purple. Okay, just waiting for some silence here. Okay, gather around the fire. Here we go. Okay, just get my table a bit closer. All writings, or writings, R-I-T-I-N-G-S, are based on Phoenician law, universal sound intent of my common law. Com equals with, mon equals my en français. Hello, Brian. I know you know who I am and what... Oh, by the way, as I'm reading this, I want you to get the vibe of how much fear I have of the system and how much fun I like playing with it. And if there's anything that I love to do is to try to show people this contrast, that if you're in fear, you're not having fun. And as soon as you get into fun, well, what happens? Who gets the fear then? Well, you give it back. It's a game of hope and fear, hope and fear, hope and fear. Can you buy the fear, or do you want the hope? I'll take the hope, thanks. Anyway, so here we go. On that energy, let's have a read. Hello, Brian. I know you know who I am and what I'm doing to end the legal system corruption thrust on humanity, you included. But I bet you don't remember me from your childhood. Kudos if you do. You see, we go back a long way to Country Club Drive, where my family and yours were at each other's homes for various things, inasmuch as our parents hung out together, along with the rest of the UK families. That's what like-minded, cultured people do. My dad was a Mason too, albeit not of any high degree like others in my family, but let's say I got the gist of things from a very young age, and why I never followed that long family tradition. One, because I couldn't swear allegiance with some born with a silver spoon in her ass child-murdering enabler, and two, because no one made it clear as to what supreme being they were referring to, being as this is a duality realm. I'm not known to beat around the bush about things, so I'll keep it fairly simple here, and we'll discuss more in voice if you actually have the stomach for truth, whereas your predecessor lacked that, and a pair of balls to actually confront me, where he liked to send his little knee-pad boys like Gemini and Kevin McCart to do his dirty work for him. Cowards do that. Just ask Brent Eden, the former deputy chief, why he was suicidal, but I have to also mention that because you're sitting in the false personation role of Chief of Police for the Corporation of the City of Guelph Police Services, that is subsidiary of the Corporation of the City of Guelph, that is headed by the Chief Justice Mayor, an office currently occupied by the false personator Mayor Karen Farbridge, that you already know what's really going on as far as how the system you serve works. The good news is that I do, and likely to a far greater degree than you. Unfortunately, all mayors don't grasp the responsibility of the office they are holding, and that they are fully liable and responsible for any and all actions of and by their by proxy agents and officers, judges, and lawyers, etc., and literally every corporation operating within their corporate city boundaries. The list of people who have been in the loop with me is long, where each and every one of them is fully accountable for their actions, where your corporate veils were stripped last September 1st, effectively stripping any and all spiritual protections. The realm I play with, inasmuch as you're likely familiar with the Golden Rule. I've added a few other folks to this letter so they can get a grip on what they can now expect, because, being of a benevolent nature, I like to hand out enough rope to use to climb out of the pit one is in, or use that same rope to tie a noose for themselves, where the choice is always another's. Never mine. Kevin McCart made a promise the night, February 11th, 2012, to, quote, take me anywhere I wanted to go, unquote, and I said home, and he choked it. However, you and many other agents from various police agencies, by association, commission, kidnapped me at gunpoint in front of my home by non-uniform agents in their private vehicles, and then my family via SWAT raid. Attempted murder is easy to prove in a private prosecution. Oh, no lawyers allowed since they only practice law. With the simple fact that you all use full lead rounds in your guns in defiance of the Geneva Convention. Full metal jacket, also recently established in full force liability, motu proprio by your master, Pope Francis. By always having one in the chamber proves intent of the shoot-to-kill intent policy enjoyed by most, if not all, police corporations and banking master dogs, as they call you. Unfortunately for you and every cop involved, you were dealing with a lawful witness to these crimes, and the fact that you use legal identification means you're legally dead by consent and have no voice in my court. You also can't undo the past where all actions are fully accountable as a living being. Yeah, you and everyone involved can't hide behind this corporate veil, since the spiritual, ecclesiastical side of your courts was stripped away. That is called an apocalypse, or leather covering, and I do enjoy using the playbook to manifest my and your reality. Sadly, most are stuck in the literal world, where I chose the real one. You really should read my writings on my website to get a real handle on who and what you're actually dealing with here. kateofgaia.wordpress.com. But I'm sure that one is in yours and many others' favorites anyway. LOL. No, I wish no one any harm, because that is repulsive to my own being and why all the actions taken against me to destroy my life are so repugnant to me. What's ironic is that who can one report this to, since it was the cops, the lawyers like Frank Valeriat, and the courts of admiralty, etc., that actually committed these crimes? But then what can one expect when one is also dealing with a bunch of steroid and methadone jacked up thieves anyway? Incompetence comes in the fact that that one of your guys had, 28 syringes of steroids in his locker, and no one knew or saw this? Ha 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 ha. That's some awesome detective work going on there, but it's also the revealing of a much darker and sinister environment, no? It only makes sense that people of this stripe would steal countless belongings of mine and my family's, because that's what criminals do after all, no? I won't get into the gory details of what I went through, since you guys have been kept up to speed every step of the way, and not once has any of you acted to do the right thing. Now is your chance, and it's the only one I offer. Otherwise, I'll save that for your fully liable status in a common law court via prosecution. You should see the team we have assembled for that. Wow. As you can already imagine, I'm a meticulous being that leaves no stone unturned, including the rock one of your guys served in August 2010 with video evidence, no less, LOL, and keeps record of everything. Well, here's a little push for you. Excuse me. You have 72 hours from now to contact me on my cell phone at 226-971-9675 to chat or not. Either way, your choice will be made and cemented for all eternity. Fortunately, I fully understand Phoenician law, which is the basis for all laws, both legal and universal, where I'm going to bet that you don't. Regardless, I have no vengeance in my heart, and it is only my wish that others do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, or suffer the consequences of their own spiritual contracts made in free will choice. This is what's called the domino effect, and it will be up to you as to which domino I push over. The one that makes you and all involved villains, or the one that makes you heroes. I told you I'm benevolent, but I'm also in full causal state too, where I accept all things and simply tip the dominoes of intent to manifest my reality as per another's free will choice. I'm hopeful that you will call and that you will be the hero. This applies to anyone else tagged in this letter sent, but either way, it's going to be one hell of a game. One with you and countless others rotting in jails having all your possessions stripped. Well, you wish that on me. Or as one with you stepping up to the plate with the rest of us to make this a better world. Both work with me because both versions have a better world anyway. Savvy? As you're already aware, my writings and intent are shutting down admiralty courts around the world, but if you aren't, they are. It's the same effect as when that false personation judge bowed to me on video, which only proves the intent to try and aid and abet me, the witness, back into slavery by committing fraud, claiming to be a legal name that is the trap of humanity, where the original intent to aid and abet fraud belongs to the living controllers of the Crown Corporation, your oathed to masters. Fine. I'll be using that video and the actual camera that shot it as prima facie evidence in his prosecution, as well as others of other videotaped entities. The evidence and proof of intent of that fraud is the birth certificate. It's funny how cops and courts can't do anything when shown this proof, because it is we that have to aid and abet our own fraud, eh? It's as simple as when you or anyone asks for identification, you are committing premeditated murder with intent to kill a living being into a dead legal status. Well, if a human being can be a legal person, then so must a legal person be a living being. I have my own crown I was born with, and I am my own master. Oh, also, don't worry, you won't get a summons because that is for the dead. You will be subpoenaed as the witness to your own crimes. If you're at all curious, here's the line that kills all admiralty courts and invokes the common law one, because only a witness can be alive in both versions. I am the witness to the name fraud being perpetrated here, and I have the prima facie evidence of that fraud in my hand. On and for the record, is it now your intent to entice me into slavery? Yeah, this is the best part of having nothing to lose, since you and your cohorts did a bang-up job and took care of that for me. With nothing to lose, there is no fear of loss. So start asking yourself what you're willing to lose or willing to keep, because my magic works in both versions, where all debts are absolved or multiplied 1,000-fold. In 72 hours, hard copies will be going out to countless targets worldwide, and I know I can put Guelph on the world stage, since I've done it many times. It's all about what kind of star you want to be, a bright one or a dark. So there's your only choice. In short, I can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. A little something I've always said to everyone, and it's funny how that works 100% of the time, every time. The only perceived threat here is the threat of exposing yours and so many other willful acts of harm for your own gain and profit, where I specialize in opening closets of criminals without fear, and I'm awesome at it. You see, just because no one else can see your dirty laundry and crimes of intent doesn't make them somehow go away. That is most people's illusion. I really don't care if you call or not, because either way I win. And it is my wish that you and all involved can win too, by making things right and putting things back in place that were robbed from me and my family based on the ego, greed, and slavery of so many. I have no expectations and simply allow one's ego program to own them or not. Their choice, after all, eh? What ye sow, now shall ye reap, and what ye have sown is already for harvest. I guess that makes me the Grim Reaper in a way. LOL, imagine that. Anyway, enough said. You get the picture, and yours and others' fates are already sealed based on your spiritual contract choices, where there is one last opportunity to change the road you're on. Beyond that, I await your choice. Much love. Unconditionally, Kate. Oh, P.S. I remember your basement like it was yesterday. It was always fun at the Larkins. My mom and dad always liked going there. Sad that your master system doesn't allow me to pop by their graves in Ireland. Private prosecution's coming to a theater near you. Soon, my friend. Soon. You'll see. PPS. I have lots of video footage, especially the one where Special Constable, not stable, Stevie, admitted on camera that I wasn't the legal name before the judge had his fraud ass handed to him on video. Judge bows to sovereign, remember? And yet you all went ahead and attacked my family. I think that's pretty sad, too. Don't you? Have a nice day. So there you have it.
Yeah, and there he has it.
Well, you know, the seeds are planted. Let's see what harvest comes out of it. There's going to be one of two, one of roses or one of ragweed.
Yeah.
Either one works for me. It's a better world either way.
Well, Kate, you know, that's right. My favourite flower is the rose, and amongst the rose, my favourite is the pink, which is halfway between red and white. And
well, here's the question for you.
Got a feeling it's roses all the way, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, here. Have you ever heard of the Rosetta Stone?
I have. That's about as far as I've got flashing back in my head. I've heard of it. Okay.
Well, what made the Rosetta Stone so critical and so important when it was discovered was what it allowed was for the first time for modern, quote, unquote, modern archaeologists to decipher the hieroglyphs in Egypt. Because up until that point, no one had a clue as to what the hieroglyphs were all about. And what the Rosetta Stone, it was only a piece, a very large piece, but it was only a piece of a larger writing stone that had 3 different languages on it. One was Greek, I think one... can't remember the other one, but most importantly, the one was Greek, and it had at the very bottom the hieroglyphs. So they were able to cross cross-referenced the two known languages to verify that they're both saying the same thing, so it was safe to assume, I guess, that that's what the hieroglyphs were, and then they were able to decipher the hieroglyphs. But isn't it interesting that we play in the world of sound? Our universe is sound, that's all it is. And the most important sound is silence. Look at the word Rosetta. Rose ita. Ro, spirit breath. Se, creation of himself, herself, itself. And ita, the seventh letter of the Greek alphabet. The E-T. Estimated time of arrival, indeed. Oh, did we get bumped? Or it's... Just let me check. I just had a... it might have been Ninja getting bumped off. Let me just check, guys. Perfect timing. Problem with the call, so I'm not sure if that's me on the air or not. I'll just check with the Skype room. Let me see. Oh, my goodness. So much fun. Anyway, getting back to the Rosetta. So we have Rose Ita. Now, the importance of the Greek letter Ita is it is the God letter. It contains both the yin and yang on both sides of the cross. So there's your cross again, the cross to bear. You have the fist fight, hold the light, and carry out the dead, right? Isn't it funny that the A is the carry out the dead, and that the E is the fist fight, where holding the light is the T, which is love. See, the joy of the letter T, or the sound that it makes, is it can be one of two things. It can be the cross you bear, or the note of love. And you get to choose, where it has been assumed for so long that it was the letter T. But no, there's spells in every letter. There is hidden intent. And if you're going to use somebody else's definition, what do you call that? Coincidence. No coincidence there. Really, the definition, the de-Phoenician, of Phoenician, or to undo Phoenician, right? Just one sec. Paul just tagged me, hopefully. Oh, we're loud and clear. Thanks, Paul. Just waiting to see if Ninja comes back. Do I have her back? I haven't got her back yet. Let me bring her back in. One sec, guys. Almost there. Try that again. Anyway, so I cannot stress the importance of the Greek letter Ita enough, because it is the seventh letter. Now, the capital letter for symbol that you would see for Ita is our capital H, and the lowercase letter is N. Now, H are the pillars of Solomon, with the rainbow bridge in between, which is the allegorical symbol for a bridged left and right hemisphere. That's the God mind, when you have both bridged. So you can look at the crossbar. Isn't that interesting? They call it a crossbar? Yeah, or crow's bar. Yeah, you can pronounce it both ways. I can crossbar. Yeah, I can make it sound any way I want. Think of that as the prefrontal lobe between the left hemisphere and the right hemispheres of the brain, right? Hemi, world sphere, right? Half. So you have the two pillars on each side. That is the left and the right that must be conjoined in order to bring yourself into balance. Now that's the capital Ita. The lowercase Ita, which looks like our N, lowercase n, also is a reference to God. When you think in terms of take it to the nth degree, what you're saying is take it to the infinite, right? N also means a possessive. It's mine, and of course the th is representative phonetically as theos, to the nth theos degree, to the infinite God degree. So Ita in the Rosetta stone has such a larger and more profound coincidental meaning to me. There are no coincidences in this game. And that one hit me a few weeks back, and I've been meaning to actually bring that one up. Funny how it just happens when it needs to. So there's what a Rosetta Stone. I use, we have a physical Rosetta Stone, and I use the spiritual one, the phonetic one. So we've got as above, so below. Because everything below is represented as above. It's just, do you have the eyes to see it? Do you have the ears to hear it? And do you have the patience, or mind-babblingly distracted by all of this funness and, worry and all the rest of it? That's what the game is designed to do. This game is simple. Can I distract you enough to keep you from being God again? That's our game. We're here to play a game of not being God. It's the only game we can play. We are God. How boring is that, to be in God mode all the time? The only time you can have a game is if you don't know the outcome. That's where the whole point of blocking our ability to know all things comes into play. That is the game. And can we, from a very low level, climb our way back up Jacob's ladder? That's the only game in the universe that I can see anyway. Works for me. Thinks right and feels right. Welcome back, Ninja.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's always fun on Skype, isn't it? There we are.
Yeah, a little bouncy action. Way more fun on a feather bed, I assure you, rather than the bouncy on Skype,
No comment.
Yeah, grandma's feather bed, indeed. Anyway, yeah. So what we try to do at this table, Ninja, is just bring the things to its simplest form, how it relates to both physical and spiritual. While everyone's caught up in the physical, the Walmart, I saw a poster the other day, I laughed so hard. You know those greeting cards that have like the 50s cartoon characters? They're like drawings of, like decent drawings of men and women, but they're done up in that 50s, 60s advertising motif, Anyway, this one came up and I just howled.
Yeah.
And someone posted on my page, when people say, Kate, can I ask you a question? And I said, well, you already did. Another one, right? It's true. It's true. So that just shows how you got to be in the now. And I like to remove redundancy as much as I can. But anyway, this poster or card came up, and it was, no, you may not AXE, me a question. I don't speak Walmart. Anyway, I just thought it just hit the right nerve with me, and I had quite the chuckle at that one. Are you? Did I lose her again? Are you still fumbling for the mic? I think we might have lost Ninja again. Well, listen, guys, you can call in here, eh? So we got about 45 minutes here. Let me see. Let me just bring this down. Oh, there you are.
I think you almost did. No, I wasn't fumbling, but there was a bit of a click, clack, clack. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I don't mean...
Yeah, I'm just saying, someone call in, tell us what's going on in your world today.
Yeah. Now, the guest calling, Critical Mass Radio here, is 347-326-9530. That's 347-326-9530. And, of course, if you're listening on the Blog Talk page, you can refresh the page for the Skype button if it's not there, and you can Skype in. And once you're there, to get on the board and have a chat with us, it's really simple. We love to have people in. I want to hear from the rest of me. How do you think I learn? Anyway, all you have to do is hit one on the keypad on your phone or open up the dial pad on your Skype and hit one there. That's the same thing. And that lets me know that you want in the call. So there you go, guys. Nicola, but no sign of wanting to put their hand up. So I used to just open mics up on people. I don't do that anymore. That's a trespass and free will of choice, but I would love to hear from you, Nicola. So open up your dial pad, and, better yet, I'll open your mic up. If you want to jump in, you're more than welcome. You're not obligated, though. So there you go. Makes it easy. I don't have to worry about it. Sometimes people have issues getting their dial pad open on Skype. And maybe they want in, maybe they don't, but whatever. So if, Nicola, you want to say anything, your mic is open, but don't feel obligated. Hang out and have some fun. Anyway, I heard from Moth earlier. She had to head off to Brighton today, so she wouldn't be able to make it to the show today. I trust that she has her show, the Wakey Wakey show, tomorrow. Same time, 1 to 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, which is 6 to 8 Greenwich Mean Time. So, yeah, I'm sure I got a couple of, hey, wait a minute, Kate, that's not, yeah, I know, I got it. I just react to it quick, that's all. Anyway, I'm just checking in the Skype rooms to see if anybody wants to, has any questions or whatever. It's always busy in these rooms, eh? You there? Minge? Okay. Wow, we're having fun today. We're having fun. Anyway, I really honestly don't know where to take this.
I don't know if you can hear me or if I'm on a lag again, Kate.
I can hear you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here, but I don't think you can hear me right now.
I can hear you.
Bit of Skype trouble again.
You're loud and clear, Nedge.
Oh, okay, then we've got a lag. Okay.
Yeah, about 3 seconds. It's a good one. That's a real good lag. Maybe I can entice Critical Mass owner Paul Giovanni to jump in with us. He hasn't been on the show for a while. So if he's able, I'd love to have Paul jump in. That would be awesome. Let me see.
Yeah, I was going to tell you what I enjoy doing every day. I don't know, it's... Oh, is it? 3 seconds. Oh, it feels like...
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember him being on this show with us.
He's been on. He's been on once before that I can remember. You think we're throwing enough guilt out there? Maybe get him on the show. I love time with Paul. I'd love for him to sit in on.
I've got a shocking memory, so that doesn't surprise me.
There you go. Oh, look! Thank you, Splendora. Just wrote that she's translated my contracts essay into Danish, and I'm also working on the Italian one. My humble contribution. Humble? Are you kidding me? Wow. Where can I send it? Right here works. Right here through Skype.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. Send it to me.
Skype kiddo. Well, I'll give her your contact. One sec. That's beautiful. You see, this is what I love the new timelines as they come up. It's awesome. They just keep manifesting more and more beautiful every day. There we go. Oh, and I just had a call from, and they didn't know what I was. Okay, for private prosecution. They said maybe you're filing. I see. Oh, there's Mark. Let me bring Mark into the call here. Yeah, of course they don't know what a private prosecution is. They don't teach that anymore because they want everyone to keep it so hidden. What I would suggest if someone calls in and doesn't understand what a private prosecution is, maybe get them to listen to a little bit of Carl Lentz. He's still doing it from a legal position. That won't work for well, I don't know if it'll work anymore. It won't work for much longer because we've every time we unveil something, it doesn't work anymore. So that's why I tell people, don't rest on your laurels. That's going to get you nailed every time. If you think you won, you've lost. And if you think you're free, you're a slave. This is a mirror place because we are both always at the same time, and it's how we ebb and flow on that line that changes that. But hey, Mark, how are you?
Hey, Kate.
Are we having fun?
Always.
I'm feeling pretty mellow today. You know, it's just I do a lot of hours on radio, and you know, some days I get in the groove, and some days I'm not really in the groove today. But you know, I got to tell you, there's some days that I really feel it. So because I always want to deliver, I always want to take something to a new level. That's why I'm glad I remembered about the Rosetta Stone. Interesting little piece, though, eh?
Yeah. I don't know, Kate, have you heard of there's been this thing in Dublin. Did you hear about this?
Not yet. I will be talking with a friend of mine that's from Dublin today, right after the show. So, and we're working on private prosecutions in Belfast right now.
I mean, I can everybody can take their own analogy from it, but there was I believe he was a landlord. I'm just trying to find it on the phone, but he was a landlord, and he had an argument with an Italian, and he cut his chest open.
Oh wow! Isn't that interesting?
Right open. And I'm just thinking. I mean, it's horrific, but to think an Italian, you can everybody can take what they want, but I think it's like, you could reverse it, couldn't you? Or you could say that,
Well, let's look at the bigger picture. What these things allegorically represent. Now, for me, here's how I will decipher that. For me, and then once I get the allegory out of it, then I put my intent and put it back into literal. So what I'm doing here is showing the allegory, all right, which actually becomes literal the instant you get the allegory. I've always referred to, and often, to Ireland from my perspective, because that's where I'm from. I have to look at my game plan. It's not like this is the only one that matters. No, every point of consciousness from your point of view matters exactly the same way. It's just, can you see your pieces the same way I see mine? That's the difference. Can you see your game pieces? I see mine. It doesn't matter. I could be from Pakistan for all it matters, and be able to share the exact same allegory from that perspective if I knew how to, my roadmap, because that same allegory will show up. But Ireland, to me, is the allegorical representation of the heart, or the heart of Gaia, in that it has 4 chambers, 4 provinces. And the only one that is separate from the rest of the heart is the intent and the creation of the divine feminine spirit. That's Ulster, U-L, stir, right? U, international symbol for electricity. L, the culmination of manifestation. And stir, which is the divine feminine creative essence. Regis stir, remember? Okay, good. All right, so now that's what the Irish guy represents to me. That's the heart, and the heart has finally been ripped the chest of for the heart has been ripped open, okay? Now, see, everyone can get caught up in the physical gore of this, okay? When you understand that you're watching a movie, oh, you're so cold. No, quite the opposite, actually, because I'm trying to script a new movie here, you see, find a new timeline that this stuff doesn't happen in, and we have to work our way through this. Can we get bound by these emotions? I do look at things emotionally. I do not react to them. I don't empower that literal, because if I do, I'm just feeding more energy into it happening again. So that wouldn't be a good thing, not in my world anyway. So let's have a look at there is Ireland getting ripped open for what? Heart surgery? Sounds right. Now, the Italian, to me, is a representation. It's not the Italian people. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's the allegory of what that represents. And that represents, to me, the Vatican.
Exactly, Kate, exactly. I mean, that's exactly... I mean, what I feel is that with the phonics and, if people want to play in the game, you have to understand phonics, you have to understand the language, you have to... it's all about... Well, it's communication, obviously, but, you have to stand back. I mean, I'll read a little bit from... This is
Please.
Coming from AP News, okay? An Italian man allegedly cut open his Dublin landlord's chest and tried to eat his heart, following a fight over a chess match. The 34-year-old was charged Monday with murder. Police say he admitted his guilt after being arrested Sunday at the home he shared with Tom O'Gorman. Pathologists said the 39-year-old victim suffered dozens of severe knife wounds to his head and chest, which had been cut fully open. Ireland's senior pathologist demanded that the heart remained, but a lung was missing. Determined.
Oh my.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but you have to, like you, Kate. Immediately when I saw this come through on the twit, I'm just thinking.
On Twitter?
Oh yeah, on Twitter. God.
Yeah, I've been listening to what you're saying.
Heart out of them, Kate.
Yes.
But Mark, hello, darling.
Hello. Hello.
I wrote that exact line in one of the things I wrote about 2 weeks ago, that we're ripping the still beating heart out of this system. You know, I mean, these things are all in line with what...
Foreshadowing.
You know,
that's a foreshadowing of the movie. You go back and confirm the foreshadowing, and you can start to see what you're going to actually... This is why it's so important to... What are you creating? Because what you put out in intent now will manifest. This is why, if you are trapped in the literal will keep going over and over again. How many people in this game are still trying to win a legal sense?
Too many. I mean,
and they can't. They can't. That's the thing. So that, to me, that is insanity. Trying to do the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And this is why I tell people, do not sit on the win. Because if you think I keep doing the same thing over and over again to get the same effect, well, the effect has already been seen. Good, nice, we got it. Let's move to the next effect. And the next. I'm not insane, okay? I look for the next because I'm not going to get stuck in a literal game. Much higher game.
And I'll tell you something else that I just wrote yesterday, because I started writing something yesterday. I'm not going to say too much about what it is at the moment because I'm not finished. It's not a secret. It's just I don't want to discuss it in detail until I'm finished. I started writing yesterday something very important to my own self. And one of the phrases that I wrote in it was a battle-ready Dubliner. And I literally just typed those words yesterday. And here we have the story again. So there's so many little things, isn't there?
I think people have just got to get closer with nature. They need to calm down. They need to shut that monkey chatter up.
Bingo.
Just shut it up.
Mark, just before you joined us, I'm having a bit of lag and delay here, but Sheila in the room assures us that we can be heard. I was just about to say one of the things I enjoy doing every day in recent weeks, and every day we do this, is to feed the wild birds. They come to the hand, and you've just said, Mark, get back to nature. And I wanted to share that before you joined the call. So thanks for giving me the opener to get back onto it. You just put your hand out the window of your peanuts, and we've been feeding them in the birdhouses that we put up, and they've been coming every day. And then, the more you just connect with them and never trying to catch one. We're not interested in that, obviously. Just let them come. And I've got these little birds now coming onto the windowsill. They're taking peanuts out of the bowl. They're jumping on my arm. They're learning tricks, if you like. I mean, they're so clever, and it's just beautiful every day to connect with nature any way you can.
Well, yeah, this is so critical, and this is why I only use natural law, nature's law, and it's so very simple. Let me give you a couple of quick allegories for people, because we only do this particular platform once a week. I was relaying the concept of the I Dream of Jeannie show, where Barbara, Barbar is a demon. Of course, her last name was Eden, which of course is heaven, right? So you got the demon, and you've got heaven and hell in that name. There are no coincidences here, guys. It's a comedy. If you can start seeing it, you'll laugh. Trust me. So the whole premise of the show was that Larry Hagman's character was a former astronaut, and when his capsule landed, he found the bottle, and the genie was in it. Now, the genie in this particular show is the allegory for consciousness itself. It is the limitless wishing well, and that every thought you have, consider it a coin or a seed. Let's just keep it to nature here, just so people can get it. And that wishing well, every thought is a seed. So when you take that thought and you put it into the wishing well, which they go into automatically, it's an automatic flow stream. it will be created literally. This is why you can get trapped in the literal game, and why it's so easy to control people's minds by planting seeds. Here's the difference. You've got many planting seeds that they only harvested from the left brain, the insane one, literally insane, but it's also the most sane as well, just like the right hemisphere. It's a quad. It's always a quad, always 4 chambers of this heart. So if you can finally get the concept that every thought is a seed that you are going to plant, you have to determine where are those seeds coming from. Are they coming from the harvest of the left brain, from the previous harvest of shit from the left brain, the previous harvest of shit from the left brain, and you're going to expect something different? If you keep buying the literal, what you're doing is you're taking all the seeds from Cain and you're replanting them. The difference here with me is I take the seeds from Abel, the God side, and I plant those. What I'm doing is I'm planting new rosettes. Okay? So it's such a simple concept. This is why it is so critically important to shut your brain down and stop staring at things literally. Because, Mark, I assure you, there were a lot of people that when you said that, they would have had an immediate reaction to that. Hands up, everybody that had an immediate reaction of a physical emotion to what Mark said. Be honest with yourself, because you can't lie to yourself, because you already know the answer. You don't have to put your hand up. Okay, this is the thing about truth. Truth simply is. You either accept it or deny it. So accept it. Yes, most people will have an immediate physical reaction to it. What I have learned to do, and Mark and many others in engineering have learned to do, is not look at the things literally, because when you have an emotion reaction, what you have is a no-mote-shun, which says an emotion is an immediate casting of a spell. You're not shunning it. So me, I take it and turn it around where I know that. And I make emote ions, no spellcasting ion ability, right? This is the power of phonics. When you take the word, see its equal and opposite side, and I can show you in the sounds. It's so very easy, and there are countless people that can do this now. This is what happens when we stop those emotions, or the emote ions, and make them true emote shuns. Then, and only then, can you plant the right seeds. So if you take what we're sharing literally and stay within that physical reaction of it, and and then it's about justice and this and and all the physical meat stick nonsense that goes around it, or you can step back from the picture and see that it is a literal response to an allegorical concept. Find the allegory, then make it literal again. That's what happens when you plant a God seed versus an Abel seed versus a seed that walks with a Cain constantly, right? These are the genetically modified organisms that we talk about. There was a few that I had last night regarding GMO. Trying to remember what they were. Anyway, it'll come back. It was a lot of fun chatting after the show with a friend. I have some of my most profound moments after I get off the air. It's funny that. But that's so I can share it. Go ahead, ask me why I write essays now. That's why. But yeah, Mark, you're looking at it from exactly the right position. And when you take the allegory of the landlord, the ruler, the baron class, literally having the heart ripped out of them. And interesting that you mentioned the lung. Now, the lung is representative of Gemini. Okay? And what Gemini is, because it's the lungs, that is the actual spirit breath. Gemini is the only spirit sign on the zodiac. That is the connection between the higher and lower. And we all have Gemini in us, not just because you're say, born in that zodiac. Every one of us has that ability because you have lungs. If you have lungs, you've got Gemini. You've got every zodiac from Pisces the feet to Aries the head, from top to bottom, the fallen angle. Now we're being the risen angle or the right angle, the right ascension. Okay? And so that to me says that half the spiritual power has been ripped out of their spellcasting ability. Don't you find that interesting? I think it's fascinating. And there is the net effect of spiritual cause. And I know, based on what we've been talking about over the last few days, what you just shared, Mark, makes complete and utter allegorical sense as to the effect that we're causing in the physical realm, literal, from standing back in a spiritual position to re-empower ourselves into casting spells. You are all wizards, each and every one of you. If you can imagine, well, then what you're saying is, I'm a genie. It just depends on how you pronounce the spelling imagine. It can be pronounced I'm a genie as well.
Okay. You're talking about the lung. Isn't...
Oh, not hearing you, Ninja. I'm not hearing her. Anybody else? No, we just lost her. You still there, Mark?
Okay.
Yeah, hang out,
Kate.
man. It's wide at the table, bud, so hang out.
Kate, you've got to do some videos.
I know. Because I can do this all in visual so quickly.
Yeah, people get it. I think people, I mean, we are visual people, aren't we?
Show and tell. I also decided I'm putting my guitar back on my shoulder, too.
Magic.
That's lovely to hear. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the effect that August Rush had. That's why the allegories. And isn't it interesting that I'm going to urge everyone to watch that with allegorical eyes. It will floor you. And it was all about listening to the song. And when you find the resonation, you bring the whole Trinity back together, the himself, herself, itself. And it was a story of a young boy separated from his mother at birth. He was told he was dead, only to find out later he was alive. And it was a chance meeting of his mom and dad that only were together for one night and got separated. And it was a culmination. Of course, it was a concert culminating in Central Park. Say and Trinity, Spirit Breath of All. Paroka. It's beautiful. Anyway, it's that's what I really need to do, is just do movie nights and sit down with people and go through a movie and show how each allegory, it's all the same story. I can show the same story in every movie. How each story is the same, and show how we define ourselves, these energies, with all these different characters. But you're right, Mark. I do. I need to do videos. So, okay, I think I can do that. Jump in, guys. Anybody?
We've all gone. We're speechless. We're waiting for the videos now.
It's like, help me out, guys. I'm trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to talk to myself here instead of talking to myself.
I've just got this in my head. I'm now thinking about that's how we're going to do that, and who's going to, and there's that, and I'm having. Sorry. I thought, wow, videos, yeah. Just put your face on, get the old lippy going, do your hair, get busy, and away you go.
It's not. That's not even. That's the least of my concerns.
I know.
my concern more than anything, with look at the word concern. Con, with or without. Say, himself, herself, itself. Ro, spirit, breath, are mine. Do you see what I mean? Is you're either with or without the creational spirit, breath, mind. So it's not my concern. Okay, well, I could take that in four ways. You see, this is the magic of phonics. It shows you all quads, all quadrants. Remember, when we're dealing in a 3D, this is actually four-dimensional, right? When you're dealing with the four, you always have to bring it back to that delta, the D, the Trinity, right? Greek letter delta, right, is a triangle. Fourth letter in the alphabet, English and Greek. So that makes it the Bart Trinity. So it always has to come back, always. And phonics shows you the full quad, so that you get all 4 quadrants. It's like, look at a football pitch, okay? Look at where you've got the 4 corners on the pitch. All 4 corners are pointing out. But if you were to bring them to the center of the pitch and cross over each other, you'd have a perfect circle cut in 4. Right? So what you're doing then is you're not in a duality anymore. You're seeing the full picture. You're not cut in 2. You're bringing all 4 pieces together to create the whole. It's beautiful. Yeah, you're right. I need to do video. So for me, it's about sitting down to map a video out. So I'll find someone around that's actually good at doing those kind of things, because video that was never my gig. I'm a sound type, right? So what is that? Yeah, I take pictures that I see, I write songs about them and put them into words and share them, right? So I guess I'm a picture translator. I guess I have to learn to go the other way too then. Take the words and put them into pictures. Well, I do. I take pictures, make them into words, create other pictures. So yeah, okay, I can do this. Yeah.
Well, it is supposed to be in the mirror, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely it is. Yeah. Okay, I hear you, Mark.
I think it'd be fantastic.
And I shall now be adding a new page to the site called Kate Videos.
Yep. Go ahead, Mark. Time lag with Ninja, remember?
Sorry.
Oh, no. I was just to let you know. It wasn't an intentional step on. It's just the way it is.
I think yourself and Santos, if you guys did some videos. Awesome.
Oh, that would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah. If I start walking now, I could probably get there. I'll drive to the coast and swim from there. How's that? Oh, man. Too funny. Yeah,
it's all about the intentions, Kate. It's all about the intentions.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm making up all these different scenarios, so I can laugh and put some energy in it. That's how we get energy. We laugh. Remember, laughter is 10,000 times more powerful than fear. Or didn't you see Monster Inc.? All the truth's there. You'd be amazed where you find it. Here's the thing, you just got to learn to accept it. That's the difference. And most people can't, because they're, that can't be real. That can't be real. Oh, fuck, it is real. Yeah, of course it is real. Israel. Get it? It's just a phonics thing. Anyway.
Yeah, I think there are sort of some key ingredients, and phonics is one. I think nature and getting closer to it, because I mean anybody who lives, I would say today, anyone who's fortunate to live in the countryside, wherever in the world, the people are closer to the earth. They're more humble.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
so I love
necessarily. Yeah, cool.
I was going to say that's why there's nothing I love more than sitting in front of a fire while I'm talking. A bit of a nuisance keeping it going, but it's just such a
primeval.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just you get to be at one, and you get to see the magic. And by the way, I will mention that when you get in the right state of mind, you can actually have a conversation with a fire. Quite fascinating. I mean that literally. It's quite fascinating. It's when you start to connect with all things.
And the other key, I would say, is your diet, which I hope perhaps we can get Santos and yourself and everybody else to maybe show their experience and knowledge again, because you are what you eat, and I think that is a fundamental aid in, dare I say, wakening people up. What they're actually shoving in their mouths, because, well,
yeah, you know, Mark, you're absolutely right, and see, if you think of your body as a computer, which it is, it's a universe. if you're going to clog it up with all sorts of stuff, and you see, it's not even so much what we do to our bodies, it's the ignorance of knowing who we are to manifest any sort of negative out of your body. And the vast majority of people that I've come into contact with don't know how to do that. You know, for me, it's I actually have to remind myself to eat. Oh yeah, I should probably give this body something. To me, it's not a first and foremost thing. Where a lot of people, it's been so ingrained and programmed. Well, you have to eat breakfast, you have to eat lunch. Look what they do in the system, right? You have to eat dinner, and what does that do? That creates a linear habit that entrains you into a certain time of day to do a certain thing, and that's what programs do. A program is designed just like an alarm clock. You set your alarm clock for 7 a.m., and it goes off at 7 a.m. So if you tell someone that they have to eat at 7 a.m., and they get into that habit, they become the alarm clock. They become the machine. They're not making aware, conscious decisions of just maybe having a snack if they're nibbly, or eating, or whatever, at all points of the day, where it's not a focus. And that's the problem with our society. Food, gluttony has become such a focus. And, well, have you noticed a couple of fast food places around anywhere at all? Everywhere? No, that's not a focus. I often imagine how these places stay in business, but they do. Why? Because the program is running and it works great, and people are quite happy going out and just filling their faces with shit. Literally. Let's not even get into the meat side of things, you know. But again, I'm not passing judgment here. I'm just making an observation of these things are things that I would not do. You know, it's just not. Let's just say if I'm gonna you know, say grab some fries at a drive-through or something, that's not because I'm programmed to go there to do it. It's like, oh, I think I'll do that. I choose what I do in my now, and I'm fully aware of the choices that I make in my now, and I'm fully able to transmute whatever energy in my now. It doesn't matter to me. For me, it's just going through the motions of the movie. Oh, this character needs this, so I'm gonna play this role and do this for this character because I know this is how this meat stick game works. That's what it means to direct your movie instead of being directed by it. You know, and that really is a difference. Are you at effect everything around you, and you're just going through an automatonic motion day after day? That's what jobs do. That's what schools do. That's what food cycles do. That's what holidays do. That's the whole
program. I mean, how long do people you think about the robotics of Monday, Friday work, Saturday, Sunday off, back to work, Monday to Friday off, 2 days, and you do that to 65? What the fuck?
Yeah, and then you drop meat stick because you didn't learn a damn thing, and you come back again and do it again. We got Mike in the call here. I'm going to bring him in because we've got about 10 minutes before I have to roll out of here. We got Ben coming on right after me. Always good to have Ben on, spinning some music afterwards, so thank you for that, Ben. Let me do a quick shout-out right now as well, by the way. Great big thank you to Paul Giovanni and criticalmassradio.co.uk. Anything you guys can do to chip in on the subscribe side, whole pound a month if you can handle it. That's one of your options, £2 and £3. If you can't give up a coffee every month, then I don't know. But anyway, and of course there's the donate side. And as always, keep the intentions high. And that's where I'm at. And I always like to say this because I love knowing that I get to support our table. I'm a £10 a month subscriber, and you know how I live, on donations. And thanks to everyone for those that help me out with that, to keep me on the air. I have exactly what I need. Isn't that funny how that works? Universe takes care of you. So go ahead, Michael. We got you in.
Hey, aloha, Kate. Aloha, Mark. Aloha, all.
Aloha, Mike.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, let's bring it home again. We were sharing this.
Yeah.
You were sharing this last evening about let's not focus on the masses and what they're putting in their mouth at the moment. We know that when we tend to eat healthier and do some better things for ourselves, things get clearer. But still, the main picture we're trying to change here, that isn't...
My concern.
That isn't blocking it. Nothing's blocking it, but that ain't the hang-up here. It's more of, like, again, spiritual intent. Yeah, you're eating some junk, but let's go back to the spiritual intent, where any moment we're change. Every moment we are changing this.
Yep. Totally agree. You know, I'm thinking you, Mark, Mike, you and Mark would, you guys would be great hosts for a show, you know?
Yeah, I'm up for it, Kate.
I know you are.
He's far too wise.
Oh, please. We're all far too wise. We're all far too dumb. It's all good. What? Listen, you guys are tuned into a tranny, okay? See the comedy yet? I love being...
What is it? The both sides of the truth pond show?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll talk. That sounds like sorry, that came into my now, and we'll try it. If you guys are into it, that would be awesome. That's just me begging for another night off.
Yeah, for sure. I heard this, Kate. Yeah, this is one of the. It's kind of like, yeah, I need to do this anyway. It's not a question of need. It's
you want to do it. I can feel it.
Yeah. Oh, there was something else I can
feel yours and Mark's intent, baby.
So just to share, hey, I'm in Molokai now. Hey, I've squatted in London. I lived in a London and squat. I've been there. And
there you go.
So I've been around the lake.
You actually went out to life? Look at you.
Yeah, that'd be great, because there's a lot we want to share, and it will, like you said, Kate, it will come out when it's going to come out. It is already. Well, we got some rain here, and the sun is shining through this hole in the cloud. Beautiful. Just again, nature, people, look out the window. I love what you were saying the other day about being in the snow, and you get the cold, hard facts. That was good.
Yeah, we cover a lot of fun stuff, and that's I know that is one of the main reasons and thrusts of so many to this table every night, is because we share the things that we already know, and that for me it's all about confirmations, and the more people, the more points of consciousness that come to this table, it's just more and more proof of the true effect that we are having in our reality. And it's like I said, every moment we're either going to be in new and improved versions of ourselves, or the opposite. If you're staring at the negative, literal, all the time and getting caught up in the emotions, you're climbing down Jacob's ladder. Once you see things and create them as they are only pertaining to you, that's when you start coming up the ladder. If you remember Jacob's dream, he spoke of stairs with angels walking up and angels walking down. Did he not? In an ongoing, ever ongoing dance, a rotation. And that's what we're doing. We just have to choose if we want to be the angels going down or the angels going up. We're all angels. We're all God. We're all consciousness.
So I'll show you that. So it just downpour of rain, and you shared last night. Just truth, raining truth, just hard. So when I see that, that's just truth, just pouring. And so people, wherever you are, imagine that. That's your consciousness connection to nature. When you see it raining out, imagine that's truth raining down on everybody, really. And
literally.
Watch it change. It's always here. Just recognize that it is happening. And if we need these reminders to show that nature's always giving us this blessing, it's always doing it. We're always doing it.
How do you feel after a nice shower? Exactly what the earth is. I mean, that's what the truth is. It washes all the grime and dirt away.
Cleansed.
Exactly. And you can only be cleansed in the truth. Yeah, it's, every day it just gets to be a more and more profound game where more and more gets revealed. So I'm hoping between now and tonight, I'm going to have a look at that whole concept video idea and see what I can do. Well, I know I can do anything. Let's just see what will appear. See, I accept all things, so okay, I can do that. So I'm just going to let it go and see where it goes. Get into the stream, baby. Had some profound dreams last night too. I'm still trying to sort them out in my head, but there was one part of it where it was like this mountain of snow. It looked like it covered everything, and I found a doorway in, and it was this huge, cavernous, glorious place, and there was like this slide inside of it. So I climbed up to the very top of it, and then just slid down, and it was beyond exhilarating. It was quite something. Anyway, just yeah. I look at these things too. I mean, we're doing work on both sides. I was explaining to a friend last night. We only got a couple of minutes here, but I wanted to share this. Did it just drop out of me again? Yeah, it did. It's gone. See, that's a freaking problem with downloads. They're just triggers. They're so close. But anyway, I'll it'll come back for tonight because I had quite an amazing conversation with this individual last night. Got into the zone, and it was right after the show too. So, and the energy of the show last night wasn't difficult to stay there. So that's all good. Yeah, if I sound a little bit scattered today, it's because I'm just kind of being in the moment, accepting all things. But again, a great big thank you, guys, for everybody that comes to this table, new and used, right? I love it. Because all we're doing is proving to ourselves how awake we are in our own mirrors. And remember, I'm just a reflection of you. If there are things that are coming out of me that resonate with you, well, that's because you already knew that anyway. And vice versa. That's why I love to listen. That's why I love the silence so much. That's why I love to write, because I get in my zone. And I think right after this, I'm going to crack open my guitar case and see what she has to say. So there you go. Any last words from you guys?
Yeah, I'll share something. I told you I've been reading the book, that book, The End of All Evil. Again, everyone do your own homework. Trust your own truths. You're not going to resonate with everything, and that's all right, because it's from your perspective at that moment, and you might not see things as it is. So here's one again. Culture has many variations of the phrase, only human. You hear this one a lot. Oh, we're only human. We can't do this. Yeah, whatever. In every language, the phrase implies the ultimately limited value of people. The phrase is a lie. People have an unlimited capacity for intelligence. Things in the realm of the supernatural in ancient times are commonplace today. Principles that are amazingly complex become simple to intelligent beings as they are understood. With freedom, the more you grow in learning, the more wisdom opens your mind to the purity of our reality. That's what's happening, Kate. The purity of reality is shining through.
Yeah, we're not buying the lie anymore. So, Mark, Ninja, any final comments there? Beautiful, by the way, Mike. Thanks very much, Mark, Ninja.
Oh, it's nice, Mike. Nice. Look forward to the show tonight, Kate.
It'll be fun. Promise. And Ninja, last comments, and then we'll roll out of here. Do we have her? Just double checking. Yeah.
Yeah. Just want to remind people of the authority of the obey. That whole game was you setting up to devalue yourself. Recognize your true value. It's not lesser than anything. Just remember that, and this changes. You'll stand in the truth then, and more. You'll receive more. I'll just keep reminding you when you remember your true worth. When you're not obeying this authority, whatever it may be, you're standing in your heart. Thank you.
Great last words. Thank you guys so much. And thanks again, Paul Giovanni, and everyone here at criticalmassradio.co.uk. Everyone tuned in. You've been listening to Outside the Box, and we'll catch you guys in about 4 hours. Coming up next is Ben, and hang in there. Always a great show with Ben, so enjoy that, and best wishes to all. Remember, every thought is a wish. Be careful what you wish for. Those wishes are seeds, and they're going into the infinite, literal reality. So, my love, take care, and we'll catch you guys in a few hours.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Choice that way, because all I'm deciding to do is to change my point of view, shift myself laterally into a different timeline where all of those other points of view exist already. Everything exists now anyway. Everything, every potential, every possibility exists right now. It's up to us as individual points of me, magnetic electric, ourself, to choose which game we want to take part in. Because there are versions of you in every timeline, having every experience. You just have to choose with the point of awareness that you have right now, which is pure consciousness, as which one you want to, participate in. I think it's pretty easy, personally, but that's just me. Just going to check the board here, see what we got. Oh, you only got one on the board right now? Yeah, I was a little slow on the getting the word out.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
Do you want to see which tarot card I pulled?
Yeah, would you please? That would be great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I usually do the shuffle during the intro music, which is what I did again today. And I pulled the universe.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, card number 21, yes?
Yes, 21, yeah. And it's in the Arthurian deck, it's the Giant's Dance. Well, I've got a bit of noise in my background there.
I say, that was an interesting card. I like that. That was cool. Yes.
I don't actually know what that was, but there's some. I think I'll go and close somebody else's PC down.
Yeah, universe calling.
Right,
no worries. Yeah, the universe card. My book's inside, or I'd have a look for it myself. But to get back to the simplicities of this game, and I see it as a coincidence that Ninja pulled that card up, because as we are moving, the points of view that are dialed in and tuned in with this table on a daily basis are new and improved versions of me and you every single moment of now. So go ahead, Ninja. I thought I heard her. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, improved versions. You see, the universe,
the Giant's Dance. Well, I like the sound of that.
We got a time lag, Ninja, so go ahead.
I think I'll call back in, shall I? I'll rejoin.
Okay.
I think that might help.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Okay, let's see. I just get over to Skype here and just double check. I love when my Skype backs up and it opens up 2 windows. So there we go. Back to the host here. And did you go already, Ninja?
Right, I've just rejoined.
Oh, my God.
I'm in sync with you now.
That's a whole lot better.
Wow. Okay. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah, you sound like you're sitting beside me. That's excellent. So go ahead, Giant's Dance.
Giant's Dance, okay. Well, the short meaning for this card is liberation. Woo! When somebody's coming from a place where I'm no longer standing, I no longer live there, I no longer want to be there. It jars. It's really jarring on the senses. And you don't really have to read everything to even make a decision, because the decision is instant. And then you have to decide what to do with that, of course. But, yeah, this is the level at which I'm finding myself now. I don't do very much reading and viewing and, researching. I just flowing. Yeah,
imagine the reaction you'd get say let's go back into the movie script for a little bit here. Let's say in 1943, the newspapers in the U.S. and Great Britain headlined, U.S. and Britain have won the war, and at the same time in Germany they would have had the same line, Germany has won the war. What do you think the reaction of the energy would have been? I often ponder these things, the different scenarios. And these are the seeds I'm talking about to try to show what kind of an effect would you get with that kind of a seed. And to see the culminating, cascading domino effect that comes out of that. And that's exactly what you have with a thought. It's the domino. And you have countless dominoes that you can choose from every day, right? That's what thoughts are. And every time you have a thought, you're knocking one of those dominoes over. And it's cascading out and creating effects everywhere, to the point where you can't see them. It's like casting a stone into the ocean so far that you can't see the ripples. Just because you can't see the ripples doesn't mean it's not happening. You've proven that to yourself. So that, to me, is a natural way of showing this ethereal concept of seed planting. It's the same effect. You throw a pebble into a lake and you see all the ripples going out. That's what a thought is. So what kind of thoughts are you going to plant? What kind of thoughts are you going to accept? What kind of ripples are you going to have? Are you going to have a calm pond with every situation with people throwing pebbles at you? Or are you going to be a child and someone throws a pebble at you and the next thing you know, you've got 3-foot surf waves and you've got surfers all over the place? And there are some people that go to that extreme. Some points of consciousness do that. That's what I refer to as the more schizophrenic aspect of ourself. And again, that's not passing judgment on anyone. It's passing judgment on myself, right? You see? So that's how I look at things, because I know that everything outside of me is a reflection of me. And only those things that come into my awareness are the things that I need to be concerned with. So if you go looking, deliberately outside of your awareness, or you're not even aware of what I'm talking about, and you're reading headlines about this and headlines about that, you are trapped in a literal world created by another. You've heard me talk about fear porn countless times, and I can call it truth porn too, because I know how to look at it. What is it that I accept from that literal into my reality as it pertains to my purpose? You see, I have a particular roadmap that I'm following, and anything that comes at me is only applicable to my roadmap, not to the world around me. That's too easy. That's literal. There's no game there. We've played that, and we're going to play it again and again and again and have some fun. What I'm looking for is a higher, more fun level of this game that is better for all. And I can't step on free will, the power of thought. This is the game, okay? And when you can plant the seed of thought in someone else's mind and get a reaction, you have been cause. And what has happened there is you've planted a seed that created an effect, be it a good or whatever emotional reaction to it. And when you get that effect, well, that means that you were cause. If you can ever told a joke and made people laugh, well, you were the cause and they were the effect, witnessing the cause-effect relationship. And it's like the system. They send a letter, and that's a seed of fear they want you to get, and I look at it as, oh, perfect, an open door for someone to go and slam this thing shut. It just depends on how you're looking at it. Anyway, get some of your thoughts on that, Ninj. We had a great chat last night.
Yeah, I'm a bit still sort of, I'm spinning a little bit. There's so much going on in my head. I'm not always able to get it out. I'm in such a place of peace. It's a very comforted feeling I've had last month from making major decisions about where I want to be in this world and where I want to be in myself and who I want to share that with and all those things. And, I come across people every day that are still finding those, positioning themselves, maneuvering, and there's lots of questions, there's lots of sharing. It's absolutely beautiful. And part of what I'm finding gives me that deep peace is simply getting, even if I can't explain it, simply getting this concept of no fear. There's nothing to fear because they can't possibly harm us. they, we, whoever, the other half of us, those in the mirror, the dark side, whatever we want to call them, to refer them as, they can't harm us. We can't harm ourselves even. We're simply in the position of being in this and having a look at it and deciding what we're doing with what we see.
Well, see, there's the magic of what you just said there. The only way you can be harmed is if you are intending harm to another. That's golden rule. So to the level that you want to harm someone else is the level that they will harm you. That's why through everything I went through, I knew I wouldn't be harmed because I had no intention of harming anyone. That's the only thing that protects you in terms of the physical meat stick. That's the truth that you stand in. And if you are going to be a belligerent and you want to go out with your Second Amendment and shoot, right? What do you think you can expect in the mirror?
Yeah, there's just this sense of when you come across something, whether you're listening to it, whether you're reading it, whether you're watching it, something. For me, anyway, it's very much it's just a pure feeling. It's all feeling. I do 90% of everything in feeling, and I don't think I mean emotions either. I'm just sensing things more than anything.
That's intuitive. There's feeling, emotion, or intuitive. Right, so you're dealing with an intuitive. You just intuitively know something. You get, I call it. And
so when I'm coming across whatever it is.
Go ahead. We got a time lag.
Okay. When I come across whatever it is that comes across my desk, as you call it, which is exactly what it is. I'm at my desk. I'm reacting to it on that basis, and it's so clear. It's so clear to me.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good afternoon, good evening all. Welcome to Outside the Box here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. Yeah, wow. Feeling the run of this game, I'll tell you that much. Crazy. Anyway, just want to make sure I got Ninja. You're in the call here?
Yeah, hi Kate.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I know.
Yes.
You're getting on both sides of the midnight here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, why not? That's brilliant. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing to be able to wish a happy birthday on their birthday, and you're not even on that day yet. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you to everyone. It's been non-stop since just after midnight, my time last night. So the wishes started coming in, and they haven't stopped all day. It's been absolutely wonderful. I've never had what I'm now describing as an online birthday before. I've never done Facebook until I decided to start the Who Shall Not Be Legally Named group. I didn't get into it all, so I've never had that, and that's absolutely beautiful. Wonderful energies coming from people, and it's just a really nice feeling. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Love you all.
See, that's what I love about Facebook when you understand the phonics. Fa, se, book, right? So fa being the root note of all creation. That's where the fa, the comes from. That's the fa base note, the theos of God. Ro, R, which is ro through spirit breath. So the Father is the base note of God through spirit breath. But that's the intent, right? So you start to really get a better handle on what is really going on, what magic is really happening here. And when you get that, you start having eyes of a 5-year-old again, and they sparkle and everything. And isn't it funny that Facebook, everyone says, oh, it's a CIA. Sure it is, whatever. How the hell am I supposed to teach them anything if they're not tuning into me, for crying out loud? Oh, you can have a fear porn attitude or you can have a truth porn attitude. It's entirely up to you. Me, I'm just neutral. It's all good for me. I just look at everything as it applies only to me because I am the universe. We are all told that, we talked about this in great length last night. So I want to kind of continue that whole energy on because that's exactly what we're dealing with, exposing the real magic of this place. And an interesting thought came to mind last night, and it really revolves around the whole idea of why people get afraid of things like court and whatever. Well, you see, it's because you have the illusion that they're the law. They're not. They're the legal. You're the law. and you have to decide what laws you're going to stand in. If you're going to stand in a legal statute, then sorry, you're dead by consent. That's just how it works. I could make it a lot simpler than that, but it isn't. You see, and I keep going back to that Whore of Babylon. You're either in bed with her or you're not. You cannot be, half in and half out. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be completely out mentally, because every string that is still attached, you do this in a baby step fashion, obviously, right? Everyone's not as crazy as me about that. Step out, I'm done, finished, bye, see ya. I'm pretty decisive that way. When I make a choice, I stand in it immediately, and I've had this figured out. Many times. That's part of the game. That's exactly what it's about. But you have to remember that all things in a court are all things legal. They're not lawful. They're not lawful until you bring your court in a with me or with my law, which is common. With my law. That's what common law is. And what we're doing now is turning the tables have been turned with the witness. And what to do now, because we've already had the, quote, victories of shutting courts down and getting people removed. And, of course, what happens when people win? There is nothing worse than winning, and there is nothing worse than losing. And I'm going to tell you why winning is so dangerous for the ego. The ego gets immediately satiated. Oh, look, I won. I get to sit back and pick my bum now. No, you don't. And don't whine about the next level that's going to come at you, because it will. So for me, I want to stay one domino ahead in the game. That's why I get to uncover the things I get to uncover, and watch the things change as they change. There's nothing worse than a winner's attitude. And I got to tell you, how do you put this in simple terms? When you understand that everything in the court is just legal, and they can break all the legal rules they want. They can change the legal rules all day long, inside out and backwards. But what they cannot change, and this is what I know, I don't believe this, I know this. This is what gives you the strength, my friends. It's so very easy to get once you get this. I stand in the law. They cannot change natural law. And it takes a little bit to get there, but it's such a hard walk. And there's so many of us now that are clicking with this concept and understanding it. So what I really want to keep focused on here is, just because you win doesn't mean it's over. That's just a new beginning for the next game. And that's what I Am the Alpha and the Omega is all about. You are the beginning and the end. You are the end and the beginning. You choose where you want to be. So it's a constant cycle of creation, uncreation, creation, uncreation. It's a waveform. So it's a ride. But Kate, it can be so tiring. Tell me about it. But it's a whole lot less tiring when you get into a position of knowing, and it really does get to be fun. And you start to witness the things that are happening around you, watching the things that you have caused, because you are universe. I am you, you are me. You're one, just from different points of you, Y-O-U. So that being said, the easiest way to start to alleviate, a lot of people have these legal fears and whatever. If you truly understood what I'm saying, you would not have any fear. It's sort of like the cheeky little note I wrote yesterday, and it's filled with fact. It's filled with, you want to play with me? Here's the game I play. And I like to take my Abel seeds and plant them in other Cain fields, right? And there's nothing sweeter than Cain when it comes up the way you want it to. You see, I like to grow roses. And if I can choose, you can take a seed, an idea, a thought, and you can grow ragweed with it or a rose with it. It doesn't matter. It's going to be up to you as to what grows there. You can look at something literally and have it control you. That this is